You got 3 kids. Marjorie had kids. How was the blended family? How did that work, Steve?
Oh, that's hard.
I thought you were gonna give me cool by y'all like, oh,
no, that's hard, dog. They wasn't in agreement. They went bowling one night in Memphis when me and Marjorie first got together. We brought all the kids together, all 7 of them. And all the girls went bowling and came back and decided they didn't want us to get married and said they don't think it's the right thing to do. And they need more time to get to know us. And I'm sitting up here looking at some people that ain't got I'm sitting up here going, y'all ain't got a relationship, a good job, a career. I'm paying for colleges and I don't know how I'm listening to y'all making some decisions. Y'all ain't got one boyfriend that done worked thus far. So I don't know how the hell you finna tell me how to live. My sons was over there cool with it. Broderick, Jason, and Wynn, they sitting over there, they cool with everything.
Right.
The 4 girls, total, just mayhem.
Totally against it.
Totally against it. Ain't none of them got nobody. So why am I listening to them?
How did you win them over?
I didn't.
You're like, I'm doing this. Me and your mama, we doing this.
Dog, I love this girl. This girl, best thing for me. Now we gonna work. Now we gonna create an atmosphere of love and everybody's invited into it.
Right.
That's Steve Harvey revealing to Shannon Sharpe in a recent interview that his daughters didn't want him and Marjorie to get married. And even now, the girls are cordial, but there's a lot of tension there. Mostly because his daughters didn't think Marjorie was the one for their father. It all happened so fast, and as his wife, Marjorie came in and took the #1 spot in their father's life. Basically changed the way that he did everything. They often felt left out, and the only daughter Steve ever really poured into with tons of unconditional love is Lori Harvey. Lori is Marjorie's daughter and Steve adopted her. And then ever since he came into Lori's life, he's been trying to win her over because Marjorie's daughters, Lori and her older sister, also didn't want their mother to marry Steve. But Marjorie basically, she told them girls to shut their mouths. She was not about to allow them to make her miss out on this jackpot. Marjorie was too old to run the streets of Memphis, and she needed a retirement plan after all of her D-boys got locked up. That retirement plan was Super Simp Steve Harvey. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Won't waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump back into it.
I'm reason you lost everything twice.
Yeah.
In 2005, you had $1,700 left. This was after Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
You got $1,700 after you made, what, like $30 million on that tour.
Dog, we made more than that.
And you got $1,700 to your name. What the hell happened to the money?
It's called a divorce. I got jumped on, man, but it was even before the divorce.
Right.
Cause, not gonna say who did it, but they got in cahoots with my financial planner. And I was writing checks to the government for 7 years.
Right.
Writing tax checks, signing the tax checks, giving them to turn in. They was keeping them, taking the money out the account like I was paying taxes and keeping it for themselves. When my accountant passed, a lady went in the office and found a box on the floor, and I had 7 years of unpaid taxes. And I'm thinking I'm even. And then my lawyer said to me, hey man, you ain't paid taxes in 7 years.
Ooh, so you haven't paid in 7 years plus the interest.
Then I had saved some millions, but before I split the assets, she took all of that out the bank, moved it.
This is a really good interview. Steve opened up about a lot, and generally I like hearing his stories. I've heard people praise him over his business moves, but the truth is Steve is a worker, and nothing is wrong with being a worker. The only thing is that he's always positioning himself as if he's this great businessman. Yes, Steve, he's got money. He's done a great job at taking advantage of his opportunities, and he's going to outwork the next person. He's almost 70 years old, still working like he's 30. And no, it's not his talent, it's his work ethic. One problem I noticed is that he allowed his ex-wife, the second one, to access everything. She wiped him out completely. The accountant played him too. He's a great worker, and he's not good at watching over his business, so people swindle him. The accountant played him, the second wife played him, and now he's allowing Marjorie to have the same access. He even said in this same interview that Marjorie knows where all the money is and what's there. He admitted that he's not really aware. And then Steve, he goes to work and just leave Marjorie to watch the money. Never once really overlooking her because he trusts her 100%. I can just tell that he hadn't learned his lesson yet. And by the way, this is why modern women love to support Steve Harvey. That's because they want a man to be dumb just like this. Just make the money and be an idiot so they can control you and your money and basically rob you.
Why did you continue to believe in love after everything that you've been, like you're telling me you've gone through a divorce and things happened with the taxes and she took half the money, 3/4 of the money. Here I was, thought you were selling your money because you made all this money on Kings of Comedy and you got $1,700 to your name. Why did you believe in love twice? Why did you believe in you could find love again?
Because of my mom and daddy. My mom and daddy's married 64 years. I saw what it looked like.
Right.
I saw what it looked like when it was hard, when it was good. I watched a man honor a woman. I've never seen nobody love nobody like my daddy loved my mama. That boy with that 3rd grade education, my mama taught my daddy how to read and write. I never seen nobody love nobody like Slick Harvey loved Eloise Vera. He'll kill you about her.
But Steve, Marjorie isn't the same type of woman as your mother. Steve's mom was sanctified and Marjorie was a city girl / trap queen. He's comparing falling for a city girl to his dad falling in love with a 1930s woman. This guy is really sad he can't tell the difference. It's sad because he's been sabotaging the younger generation. The women thought that he was on board with them helping them to sabotage men, but he's really been sabotaging and tricking women as well into paying him with their eyeballs, their ears, movie tickets, books, his shows. He's got all of that from women who pour money into him. But where did Steve's advice get them?
And so
you
I
never had
tried
that before. In all your relationships before in the marriages, you never had that. What he had with your mom, you never had that.
My first marriage, I got married when I was 24.
Too
I
young.
wasn't the man my daddy was.
Okay.
I was trying to do something he was doing and I ain't had equipment for it.
Okay.
I ain't know how to problem solve, navigate, negotiate. I didn't know how to shut up in the argument.
Right.
I was just losing arguments because I kept them going.
Right.
I messed that up. The second one, that one right there, dog. Need another drink. I just said I don't do 2, but you got me in here now.
Steve blamed himself for the failure of the first marriage, and after all of these years, he still never really repaired things with his daughters. He thought he repaired the problem by taking in another man's daughter and spoiling her and teaching her, when he should have been fixing things with his real daughters that he was absent from. He thought that paying for their college will repair all the unresolved issues there, and then Marjorie made it more complicated, taking care of Lori in a way that he never took care of his own daughters. This is why the family can't get along. Marjorie is also manipulative. Then she taught Lori how to be that way too. I don't know if you remember it, but I covered it some months ago. Steve said Lori told him that if he didn't pay all her bills and allowance, although she's supposed to be strong and independent with her own company and money, Lori told Steve that she would not talk to him anymore. She told him that if he cut the money off, she was going to cut him off.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Right.
I'm trying to invest in my future.
Right.
See, these dudes kill me. That's what's wrong with this generation today. These young boys today, what do she bring to the table? The hell you mean, man? What do your ass bring to the table? You got a woman that can come to the table that can make another you. What else she need to slide up to the table with? What about your job? What happened to men who were supposed to be responsible? Do you know that it's our job to take care of a woman and some children, to have a family? That's our damn job.
But what happens to when the woman tell you, I don't need a man, Steve?
Well, they need to, what? Okay, if you don't, how that's working?
Yeah, it's not working. Because even when they say they don't need a man, they're still finessing men in some way for a check to survive. Number one, a woman can't make another you. Together, you both can create a baby. The woman is not creating or making the baby. The woman is carrying the baby and pushing it out. Saying the only thing a woman has to do is lay on her back and push out a baby and that's it? That's the type of rhetoric that's fueling all this entitlement that we see going on. When women look at men, they examine them. They want to see what they bring to the table. What can the man do for her to improve her life? Those are standards, expectations. But when men have standards and expectations, that's a problem for Steve? I do agree men protect and provide, but not just for some children. He's supposed to do that for his own children. Yeah, you do all that working and providing, but if you stop giving them money, they will stop talking to you. And that's his own account of what he said that his stepdaughter, who he adopted, told him.
Dog, women is everything. They the catch me out, they the lick, man. But these young boys done forgot it because these women out here, they've had to be independent because they ain't got the right man.
Okay.
But this system of marriage is still good.
Okay.
This system of a man taking care of a woman, that's really how it's supposed to be. All the rest of it's bullshit, man. And y'all need to quit tricking yourself with this new way of thinking. Because this new way of thinking ain't getting y'all no damn where. I'm sorry.
Says the man married 3 times, got swindled out of millions, and almost ended up locked up in the federal penitentiary thanks to his accountant and his ex-wife. Definitely not letting that accountant off the hook either. But yeah, I'm talking about a man who wasn't there for his own daughters, but now he's still taking care of another man's daughter who he adopted. And now she's a grown woman threatening to cut him off if he stopped taking care of her. You're telling me men need to be like you? I think Steve's daughters, they saw Marjorie was a city girl trap queen from a mile away and hated that their father fell for the trap. Another thing, earlier in the interview, Steve said that combining both families was hard, and it still was. But now Steve is shaming men who don't want to follow his footsteps. He says the system of marriage is still intact. Listen, the truth is some people will get lucky with marriage and connect with a real decent person. They'll make the right decisions and stay together until death. But that won't be the case for majority of the people walking down the aisle today. Western marriage is ruined thanks to the court system, modern women, and men like Steve, who's completely ignoring how men are still being taken to the cleaners every day, just like what happened to him. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started below in the comments and let me know what you think about all of this. Shout out to Romel, Christopher, and James. I appreciate all of you for your support. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.